This is a mock interview conducted by ForumIAS Academy at New Delhi. The interview panel includes eminent professors, retired bureaucrats, and other luminaries. The objective of the program is to acquaint the candidate with the format and expectations of the personality test conducted by UPSC.
Anakha, can you hear us?
Yes, sir, I can hear you. Good evening, sir.
You call yourself Anakha or what?
Anakha, sir.
Anakha. What does Anakha mean, Anakha?
So the term Anakha, it means purity or innocence.
Purity or innocence. Very good. Very nice. So Anakha, we find that your father is a lawyer. Your mother, this profession you are retired. What does that mean? He's a lawyer or?
Yes, sir. She retired as the additional district and session, sir.
Oh.
So she was in the judiciary. She retired as the district judge, sir.
So both your parents were in judiciary. I mean, connected with law.
Yes, sir.
All right. You also did your law.
Yes, sir.
And you had taken law as your law.
Yes, sir.
So why did you pursue your law?
Yes, sir.
You would have become maybe the Supreme Court judge or even the Chief Justice of India.
So I've always pursued law with passion. I love learning law and I also enjoy practicing law presently. However, there was a point of time when I felt that my skills in the law, the qualities that I have gained from my legal education, it can be put forward for a wider use, or that I could use a career in the public service as a wider platform so as to reach out to the society. That is the primary reason why I decided to opt for the civil services, sir. And again, as an advocate, I have felt that the role of an advocate comes at the stage of the litigation primarily. On the other hand, when it comes to a civil servant, the role it's much more diverse. I could play a role in policy making. I can be, in charge of grassroots level implementation of schemes and thereby have a more direct contact with the people. So these are the reasons which have pushed me to pursue a career in the civil services.
Very nice. Very nice to hear that. All right. And I also observed that you had been writing this examination for quite some time and this is your fifth attempt.
Yes, sir. It's my fifth attempt.
Why couldn't you make it so far?
Sir, my previous attempts, the reason why I couldn't clear it was because my scores in the written papers were low. In certain attempts, I couldn't clear prelims in 2 of my attempts. And in certain papers, I couldn't do well as per my expectation. So that is the reason why I couldn't clear it till now.
All right. This is the first time you are reached to the level of interview?
So this is my second interview, sir.
All right. In the first interview, how many marks did you obtain?
Sir, could you repeat the question, sir? I couldn't hear you well.
I asked you how many marks did you obtain in your last interview?
So my score was 156 for the personality test.
156. What went wrong? What is your assessment?
Sir, I really don't know because the interview had gone well, but perhaps I could have answered better to the questions is what I feel.
When was that?
That was in 2021.
And who was the chairman of
2
that
years.
interview board?
Chairman was 𝐶𝐨, sir.
Okay. 𝐅𝐨𝐮𝐬.
Yes.
All right. He's from Tamil Nadu. He would have understood you better, you being from Kerala. But anyway, he is retired now. And he was known to be little conservative. So this time you'll have a better luck.
Hopefully, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Tell me, Anakha, what do you think of this issue of entry of women into Sabrimala temple
Sir, it is a complex social issue, it is a difficult legal issue and a religious issue. So it is really difficult to give a straight yes or no answer to the question. In fact, talking about the entry of women into the Shabarimala temple, the Supreme Court had given a judgment favoring the entry of women into Shabarimala based on the assessment of the custom that prevailed in the Hindu religion. And the verdict was that it was not an essential religious practice, and thereby the entry of women must be permitted, as it would further the value of gender equality. Sir, my personal take is I stand by the majority opinion in the judgment that gender by itself should not be the ground for denial of entry to a place of worship, for the reason that it is important to realize the value of equality. On the other hand, equally important is to respect the religious sentiments and the customs of the concerned community. So it is in an ideal system, our approach must be to have the
So
entry of
suppose,
women into
Anakha,
Shabarimala when the community has. Yes, sir.
so Anakha, suppose you are the collector of the concerned district,
Yes, sir.
and though this issue is still under litigation, but suppose at that point of time this was the law or the verdict given by the Supreme Court, and then one group of people say that we must be allowed to enter into the temple. Another large group says that we should not allow these people to enter into the temple because of our tradition, culture, or practice, or whatever. What would you do?
Sir, as the collector, it is my duty to be bound by the judgment of the Supreme Court. So I'll be duty bound to create a situation where women are able to enter the temple. On the other hand, it is equally important for me to ensure that peace and the harmony in the district and the area is also preserved. So when there is a situation of two opposing groups, it is best to engage with them to understand what their concerns are and try to make them understand the rationale behind the judgment of the court, and also as to why only if there
But
is a voluntary consensus among the people, a woman.
this consensus may elude you. There may not be a consensus at all. Then what do you do?
Yes, sir, I would still I would stick to the judgment of the Supreme Court. I would try to implement it,
So
sir,
that
because
means, suppose that means opening of fire. Will you do that?
no, sir, that would definitely not be an option. I would try to engage with the community, perhaps by consulting community leaders on how the particular issue can be approached. Perhaps talk to other senior officers who may be better placed or who may know better on how to handle the ground situation. I would seek their wisdom and then follow the action as per my own assessment of the
But
situation.
you see, all those things are failed. Like in case of say Ayodhya. What happened when the Ram Bhaks were trying to enter into that shrine? So the then chief minister did not allow them. Do you think that was a wrong decision? In the process, about 19 people got killed.
Sir, these situations are really very delicate because on one side we have the
You are
religious
saying that
sentiment,
at any cost you will
and
not.
on the other side we have the important need to
So,
preserve.
but ultimately, when you had to call a decision, then what do? You'll open fire or not? You said that will not be there.
I will no, sir. Definitely not. That would not be the correct approach to do it.
Okay. Tell me, what is your assessment of Maldives situation? Your assessment of
Sir,
Maldives,
could you repeat the question?
Maldives situation. Your assessment.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sir, at present, there have been we have had a rough patch in terms of India-Maldives ties because there were some exchanges at certain levels that created an outrage, especially in public opinion in India. And also, we have a government in Maldives in power that is seen as slightly pro-China. So these are some reasons why there is a rough patch in India-Maldives ties. That
what
said,
should
I
India do?
generally feel that the ties between India and Maldives.
What should
So
India
the
do?
ideal approach which India should do is independent. India's approach must be to pursue to have good relations with Maldives, irrespective of which government is in power. We should go about building our relationship with Maldives by focusing on people-to-people connection by investing in infrastructural development that can actually benefit the community in Maldives. That way, we can make sure that whatever government comes to power, the
All right,
relation
very good.
between India and Maldives
Very
is
good.
placed on a
Very
strong
good.
foot.
All right. Tell me, what should be India's stand on Houthis issue? Houthis are attacking various kinds of vessels, cargo vessels, and it is creating free trade of a free movement of ships through the Suez Canal, and that is affecting our trade. What should be India's stand on this? Because till date, though we have said that we are opposed to terrorism, but we have not taken any concrete stand on this. US along with UK and other countries, they have created some kind of a group which is opposing to Houthis activity, and they are also attacking Houthis establishment. But India is not a part of that. What should India do and why India is not a part of that?
India's primary concern must be to secure the choke points or to secure the trading routes so that the safety in the sea is not affected. That has to be our primary concern. And I feel that the Indian Navy, by adopting enough security measures, by conducting enough patrols and providing security to the ships, can address the security aspects that arise because of the Houthi issue. Regarding joining of the operation, which includes countries like US and UK, there again, I feel as the issue concerns international relations, it is always important to have a nuanced approach, because a direct attack on Houthi establishments or other countries, like establishments in other countries, may lead to a flaring up of the situation, and that may even in the long term be detrimental to our own national interests. So our primary focus has to be, one, to secure the safety of trade routes, and secondly, sir, to not really tolerate any terror activities that happen in the back. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And my last question. Recently, in a judgment on abrogation of Article 370, one of the Supreme Court judges had suggested to establishment of a commission called TRC. Tell me something about this. How does it work?
So basically, the justice had recommended the setting up of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which would focus on finding out what the ground reality is in Jammu and Kashmir, and how the abrogation of Article 370 has benefited the community as such. And along with the finding out what the reality is, it would also strive to improve
How will it help us?
social trust. That
How does it help?
So for one, sir, it would lead to building of social trust between the community, because once we know what the truth is and what the facts are.
All right, Anakha. Thank you so much. I'll request my colleague to take over.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, Anka. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so earlier you were telling that both your parents are in, judicial profession, and your mother is a district judge. She retired as a district judge.
My father was a lawyer, sir. My mother retired from the Judicial Services.
Pardon, what was her designation?
She retired as the district and sessions judge, sir.
Sessions judge. So your father is also a lawyer. Had it ever happened that your father pleaded a case before your mother?
No, sir. No, sir. There is actually there is a clear prohibition in the service rules that say that you cannot appear in a court where your spouse is presiding.
Okay, all right. There is a thing called judicial ethics. Supreme Court has also released a code of ethics. It's called something like Restatement of Values in Judicial Life. Are you aware? What are the principles that have been listed in that?
Sir, there are several basic values, sir. One is the value of judicial independence, upholding truth and fairness to the judgments. There are
Okay.
also the code of conduct for judicial officers that are
Okay.
applicable in their personal lives and also the professional lives.
Okay. So it is said that if a member of the bar is actually to appear in a court before that is related a blood family, it's related with blood to the judge. The judge should recuse. That is one of the principle that is said, that they shouldn't allow either they shouldn't allow the member to plead before them, or they should recuse themselves. Are there any other grounds for recusal?
There are other grounds of recusal. For instance, sometimes the rules of natural justice itself can be applicable. For instance, if there is a case where the judge himself has a personal interest, sometimes if there is an instance of a possible pecuniary bias, in that case the judge will have to recuse. Or sometimes there could be a particular subject matter in which the judge is interested. Therein again the judge may be bound to seek the
And
recusal. And there are also cases where,
yeah, please go on. Please go on, finish your.
so that, yes, sir. So there could also be cases where there is a reasonable an apprehension of bias that could be seen by the parties as such, wherein they can make a request for the judge to recuse himself or herself.
Okay. And are judges required to cite the reasons if they are recusing?
Sir, to the best of my knowledge, they're not required to say the specific reasons, sir, for recusal. That is
Okay.
to the best of my knowledge,
Because
sir.
there has been criticism that lots of judges in Supreme Court as well as some of the high courts, they are recusing frequently. And since the reasons are not being cited, it is, and then it also leads to that whether there are some, other kind of deal that is going on. So it kind of raises questions on the independence or impartiality of the judiciary. So do you think that with the rising cases of recusal, the reasons, it should be made that the reasons should be cited why they are recusing?
So I feel it is always best to convey in very clear terms the grounds for recusal. That way, the entire process becomes more transparent, because the reason why a judge is recusing should be known to both the parties. I think that would only further transparency in the judicial system, sir.
All right. And one more thing is that in India, it is said that, for example, our governance system is such that the electorate, the parliament is responsible to the electorate. The executive is responsible to the parliament. But the judiciary is an organ that is not responsible to anyone. And the system around judicial accountability is very poor in India. Do you agree with this assessment?
Sir, I agree with you, sir. Definitely, there are certain concerns when it comes to judicial accountability. For instance, one aspect is the timely delivery of judgments. That is one area where judicial accountability is lacking. Then again, I feel the present system of assessing the quality of judicial work is also not so solid. Be it in terms of the supervision of the High Court or the Supreme Court, I feel it can be more solidified by the enactment of a specific law that looks at the accountability of judges, sir. That said, one more relevant aspect would be the question of judicial corruption, which should also receive due attention.
And any organ that you suggest they can be held accountable? Or should they be independent mechanism should be independent of any other organ of the government, of the state? Should judiciary be held accountable to parliament? Or should it be independent or some other independent mechanism, independent of both the other organs?
In fact, at present, we have the impeachment process, which is there for the higher judiciary, which is a message. Judges can be held accountable to an extent. However, direct accountability to the parliament is not permitted by the present constitutional scheme, because there is a prohibition on discussing the conduct of judges as such in the parliament. So the parliament or the executive may not be the right organ to which the judiciary should be held accountable. But we can have an independent mechanism, and we can also have accountability more inbuilt into the present system, sir.
Okay, sure. You had a very good GPA, 9.98. What happened with the 0.02 part in BA?
Thank you, sir.
I think just one course you
Certain subjects-
didn't get the perfect score, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Anakha. That's all from my side. I will just pass on to the next panel member. Thank you.
Yeah, Anakha, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear.
So, Anakha, tell me, what, according to you, is the most striking feature of the Indian Constitution?
Sir, I think the most striking feature of the Constitution is the set of values on which our Constitution is built, ranging from equality, liberty, justice, freedom of thought, rule of law, all that. I think the values are what give the document the essence.
Okay. So, recently there was this debate on changing the name of the country from India to Bharat. So, first tell me, what's your opinion on that debate? Should we change the name?
I think there is no question of changing the names, sir, because under the Constitution itself, Article 1 very clearly says India, that is Bharat, shall be union of state. So both the names are equally applicable to the country.
Okay, so you think that there's no need to change the name. Okay, now suppose government decides that it wants to change the name and there's nothing called India, that is Bharat, but only Bharat. What steps that would be required to be taken to change the name from India, that is Bharat, to only Bharat?
Sir, if such a change were to be adopted, it would need an amendment in Article 1 of the Constitution. There, the term India will have to be removed, sir. And the process has to be followed. Under Article 368, the concerned procedure which is there for amendment has to be followed.
So, what is the procedure? Detail the procedure, please.
Sir, there are three types of amendments. Primarily, a constitutional amendment bill will have to be presented. And then there are certain provisions that can be changed by a simple majority. There are certain provisions that need a special majority in the parliament. And there are certain provisions that need a special majority and also a ratification by more than half the states. And then finally, it will need the president's assent when it will become valid as a constitutional amendment.
So in this case, what would it require? Special majority or simple majority?
Sir, Article 1 does not fall in the category of the provisions that need a special majority, because that is applicable only for those provisions that affect the federal polity as such.
Okay. So tell me, what is the Dravidian model of development?
So could you repeat the question, sir?
What is the Dravidian model of development?
Sir, I do not know the answer to the question. Sir, I shall definitely check it out.
Okay, my last question to you. Differentiate between judicial activism and judicial overreach.
So both are two forms or two extent of judicial review. Judicial activism is the positive form of judicial review, wherein the judiciary plays a positive role in interpretation of law by increasing the scope of rights and thereby providing better justice. On the other hand, judicial overreach is a negative connotation of the term judicial review, wherein the judiciary is seen to overreach or encroach on the powers of the executive or the legislature.
Okay, very good. I'll just pass it on to the next member.
So, Anakha, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, Anakha, especially when I go through your hobbies and what you did, especially in this. So, here you mentioned that you are also the member of University of Moot Court Society. Okay. So, tell me that what is the role of Moot Court Society? Can we say that it's also a kind of like where internship also, where the law graduate also did their internship type?
No, ma'am. Basically, the Moot Court Society's role was to coordinate the moot court competitions that were conducted by the university and also to organize moot competitions in the college. Basically, moot competitions are like mock trials or mock courtrooms which are organized so that we law students had a more hands-on practical understanding on how the court systems work.
Okay, mainly
So
mock
basically,
trials
as a
and
member of the Moot Court Society, my role was to, yes, ma'am, mock trials and mock court sessions that were held.
okay. So benefit of moot court.
Ma'am, as a law student, ma'am, it would give us a practical orientation to approach the subject. It would give us a chance to argue the case as if in a real court, just that it is a mock trial in front of judges who would come to our college on weekends to judge the competitions, or even other lawyers who would help us improve our speaking skills. So at one level, it has helped us to improve our speaking, to how to present a case and how to argue a case before the court. And at another level, it would also help us improve our drafting skills in terms of how the case can be drafted before the court.
Okay, so you are also the member of NHRC survey. Okay, so tell me,
Yes, ma'am.
the purpose
I was
behind the
part.
establishment of National Human Rights Commission, but we can see that somehow it's not very successful, because somehow we can see also that the limitations of NHRC. So do
Yes,
you
ma'am.
agree with that? What is your opinion?
Ma'am, I agree that the NHRC has been ineffective in certain way, though it has played a positive role in some aspects also. But these inadequacies are because of a number of structural problems that the body has. Ma'am, one reason is that the NHRC has the power only to give recommendations. Its findings, its recommendations are not binding on the government as such.
Yes, the only the
Secondly,
power
ma'am,
of
there are
recommendation that is not binding. So that's why we
yes,
can
ma'am.
see that it
Yes,
was
ma'am. That is
yes. So what is your opinion?
yes, ma'am. That is a major.
What we can do for this to improve the role of NHRC, to enhance the role of NHRC?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. Something that can be done is to ensure that there is adequate infrastructure and adequate staff members in the NHRC so that the disposal of matters is done in a timely manner. Presently, there is also a situation where a vacancy in the chair or in the membership of the NHRC remains for a very large period of time. So such a situation must be avoided, ma'am. Then again, there should be at present, there is a restriction on the limitation period of cases which the NHRC can take in. So that if that limitation is removed, I feel NHRC can play a more proactive role in terms of protection of human rights.
Okay, my last question to you. Again, CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act, is in news, and we can see that protests started, especially in Northeast region also. Okay, so what is your opinion? Why protests started against CA? Again, other some communities and various groups.
Ma'am, in the Northeast, ma'am, there is always this question of migration of people from the borders.
Not only Northeast, we can see some other communities, they also protest against CAA also.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, could you repeat the question once more, ma'am? I think I have
Okay,
a
please,
lack of
just
clarity
my
in the
question is that why they are started protest against CAA, and what was the major cause behind that?
Ma'am, I think I shall read upon it, ma'am. At present, I have a lack of clarity in answering the question.
Oh, okay.
You are an outstanding candidate. Can you hear me?
Thank you.
You
Yes,
are
sir, I can hear you.
an outstanding candidate. You have huge potential. I do not know why did you secure only 154 marks last time. I expect that you should score at least 175 marks. Having said that, you are very good as far as the law issues are concerned. But only on one issue, when I asked you about Sabrimala, you are a little wavering this way or that way. There, you are not there for negotiation. Your negotiations are fair. Ultimately, it is up to you to uphold the law of the land. And for that, you must take a very categorical view. You say, okay, look here, I'll give them some time. Maybe I'll extend that time by another on 2 occasions or 3 occasions. But thereafter, I would say, okay, now I'm allowing all these girls to enter into the temple. And if there is a need, I'll open fire. I don't. Unless you are ready to use force, what is the big point in giving you that authority? Isn't it? That authority has been given to you so that you can use it when it is required.